Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
For another episode of Hypecast!
Hypecast.
It's the show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell.
I am guest Jason Pargin, and there is a little bit of a sour vibe over all of this. At the time we're recording, I personally just found out several minutes ago that David Lynch passed away.
Yeah.
Yep. I know that by the time this goes up, that will be old news and several other celebrities will have died, but please understand that as we're speaking, we just found out.
Yeah.
He's the only one so far.
He died.
So, yeah, if we just ripped that wound right open again for you, sorry.
Yeah. He died, I assume, while watching the city burn around him, which feels very Lynchian. So,
right, like I feel
works.
like he would have been watching and being like, yeah, now's the time.
Yeah. Perfect
Time for me to go.
It's wild because, like, I know he had emphysema and he had it for a
He
while.
smoked like a chimney, too.
Yeah, and he was like, no regrets. But,
No.
like, it never clicked in my mind that he would die.
Right.
It was kind of a surprise.
He seems deathless,
Yes.
if that makes sense.
My first thought was literally, is he allowed to do that when I heard
Right.
that he
Can he
died?
do that? Are we sure? Like, that was my first thought is, are we sure?
This is the
genuine,
thing that for you young people out there that's going to hit you the hardest. It's not just that you get older and people pass away. It's that there's people that will pass away that you didn't know could die. Like,
Yeah.
for me, one day I'm going to read that Jim Carrey has passed away.
Right.
People that you
That's
just don't
gonna
think
be
of.
weird.
Yeah, that you think of as like being youthful and just, very animated, and they've just got like there's an energy about them. You just don't think of them as, and same thing like David Letterman is elderly. He's going to pass at some point. These are guys who, when in my youth, were like the young, cutting edge punk rock, especially David Lynch. Like he was out there on the edge of, and this is a guy for people who don't know, like he was approached to direct Return of the Jedi. And so there's this point in his life where he could have become hired gun, sci-fi big budget blockbuster director, and chose not to.
Yeah.
Because he was like George. Look this up if you don't know. Google David Lynch Return of the Jedi, and there's this great thing where he recounts his meeting with George Lucas, and George Lucas is trying to explain to David Lynch what a Wookiee is. All of this, and David Lynch is like, I don't get it. I don't understand this.
Wookiee?
And he chose to take a different path. There was a path where he could have made a lot more money, had all the skills, could have brought like just a little bit of visual flair, but otherwise take the big paycheck from whoever, and he could have done that forever. But
He actually tried that right after the Return of the Jedi thing. The movie he did instead was Dune.
Right.
And was
And it did
soured
not
on
work
the
out
studio.
right.
Well, soured on it because the whole thing about the interference, and then that's where he decided I can't do this. Whereas I think other people would have said, okay, I have to find ways to bend to their will better.
Right, I got to fit inside this box now.
And he's
So,
like,
there's,
no, I'm going to be a weird little freak. Thank you very much.
It's funny that he's taken his name off of most versions of that film, but he's in the film. He's the guy operating the spice tractor that they have to go save. He's like, I'm out here with the spice, and they have to come and save him. Like he's in the movie.
Yeah, and he's beautiful in it.
And he's beautiful. He's just David Lynch. I don't believe for a second he's in the middle of space because he's
No.
David Lynch.
Oh, him and
But anyway.
the Fablemans. Yeah, I mean, it's man.
It's a big one. That's a big one.
It's a big one.
For
It's
us
a big one.
oldies.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I don't know. But
Man, when Spielberg goes, can you
I
imagine?
know, especially
Arnold?
especially thinking
Arnold?
of the people who were like you knew as like young, because
Yeah.
it's just it's a nice little reminder of our own mortality. So that's fun too.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Especially when these people go and it's not, a drug overdose or car
Right.
accident or something like that. It's like, oh no, it's a normal age for him to go. Like when Sylvester Stallone goes, it's not going to be like, oh, what a shocking. It's like, well, no,
Yeah.
he was 79.
He's not that much younger than David Lynch.
Yeah.
No, and all these guys, same thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he, because like even though Arnold is late 70s, right?
Mhm, he has to be. Yeah.
Because he was not a kid when he got famous in
He
the
was
early
like
80s.
30 in
Yeah, he had
Terminator, I
already
think, or
had
Conan.
a full career as a bodybuilder before that stuff started.
His
That
first
even though-
movie's in the 60s, 1969.
Like
Damn.
I just turned 50. If you like put me next to Arnold Schwarzenegger today, some of you would say he's in better shape than I am. Even though he's older. Like you would look at him and you would not you would be like, wow, you guys are you're like equally in good shape, even though he's
Right.
almost
Oh yeah,
30
I'd
years
lose a
older
fight
than
to
I am.
him still. Like absolutely. I don't think there'll ever be a point where I would win a fight against him until he's dead. Like once he's dead, I think I'll finally win. But yeah, and then also just seeing people like Matt Damon play like old dad characters and stuff, where you're just like, Jesus, I remember when he was like
Well,
the
seeing-
young hip guy.
Seeing Michael Keaton pop up in grandfather roles has been really fucking with me.
Yeah, it's bleak. Anyway,
I feel like there was another one too. Anyway, we can
welcome, Jason. Before we get started, is there anything you'd like to tell people? You'd like to plug anything right here at the start?
It's still going to be the same book I'm promoting all this year, the one that came out in September. I'm starting to worry about this black box of doom that became a unexpected big hit thanks to TikTok.
Ooh,
And that now TikTok is going to die. It doesn't matter. It got this standalone book out into the world that has basically doubled the sales of my previous book. That is thanks to TikTok. So if TikTok is gone, that will be sad. But anyway, go out.
Yeah.
If you don't read any of my previous books, you do not need to have read any of them or know anything about me. It's a standalone book. Should be totally clear to anyone what's going on from the first paragraph.
yeah,
you've got all
everybody
those
check it
Zoomers
out.
for life now, though.
Yeah,
now they're gonna be on the Jason Pargin wish
you'll,
list
you'll
for all your
port
new books.
over to Red Note or whatever the next big thing is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You go over to Red Note.
I can't even tell I don't know what's going to happen, because when Vine died, it wasn't instant that there was something else. A lot of those Vine stars, in fact, some of them I kind of still don't know where they wound up.
Yeah.
Because
I
I remember
just-
there was like a Vine house where a bunch of Vine influencers all lived together in this giant mansion and just made Vines all day.
Right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if those people are
Yeah.
still alive.
Where these industries are created around these fleeting ideas.
Fascinating
Yeah.
artifact. Yeah.
I just want you to go to Red Note and find yourself getting really popular and being forced to have to like learn Mandarin and having to like deal with like an international incident around your account specifically. I just want
Yeah.
that for you.
I mean, your next
Oh.
book could be banned in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I think all of my books have been pirated in China. I think I'm actually a very popular author over there, but not in a way that any of the money reaches me. I think
Right.
they just grab books and reprint them, and yeah.
Well, welcome. Are we
Yeah.
excited to talk about movies? We got a lot
Man,
to talk
you
about.
know I
here.
am.
We got some producers to thank first. So let's
Yeah,
let's
do
thank
it.
some beautiful people who made this show possible. Thank you to @NerdNumbers was glad to talk wrestling with Dave and Jeff.
Thank you.
I was also glad. Thank you. Thank you to Zero Charisma,
Thank you.
Thank you to 2001, A Space McNulty Odyssey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to A Fart So Polite It Scratches Your Asshole as It Takes flight. Forgot about
what a good
you.
guy. What a good guy.
Thank you to A Man with the Plan in the Back of the Van.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew. Jason deserves more hype, McGuire. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me swoop in here. Thank you to Andrew Howe demands a single act of kindness.
Thank you.
Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ballet Karate Hulk.
Thank you.
Very nimble Hulk.
Yeah.
Thank you to, oh, Jesus, this one. BLT22 EWHVIS-B.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bootler Bootlison.
Thank you.
Thank you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Thanks.
Thank you to Brockway loves the meat millie.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you to Burrito says water, gym, sunscreen, kung fu, ska, self-care.
Woo. Man,
Thank
this is the first one since in the new year, right? This is our
Right,
first.
yeah, it was supposed to be last week, but then Dave very rudely
lit on
caught
fire.
Los Angeles on fire.
Yeah. I had nothing to do with it. You
You were
can't
the Miss
pin me to
O'Leary's
it.
cow.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the Magicians, right? Because it started near the Magic Castle.
Well, one of them did.
One of them did.
Yeah, I think that one.
Are we
was
sure it
Magicians.
wasn't the Wizards?
We can blame the Magicians. It's fine.
Okay, I don't mean to laugh about it. Anyway.
Yeah, sometimes you just,
I didn't
Anyway,
realize this was your first show of 2025. If so,
Yeah.
I feel like we should have come out and said, is there any movies coming this year that you're super excited about? Because in my case, I can't name a single movie that's coming out this year that I'm excited about.
so I'm
But is
actually,
what are
I
the big
think-
ones that are?
I'm
I
actually
think
excited.
Presence is the one I'm most excited for now.
So I did our schedule the other day for like what is our We Just Watched going to be.
Wolfman.
Right now, the lineup has been Nosferatu, Wolfman, Presence, Companion, which we're about to talk about, Hard Eyes, which we're about to talk about, Captain America, The Monkey, Last Breath, Mickey 17. For me, it's like a lot of these are bangers or potential bangers where I'm like,
What's Presence?
Presence
That's the
is
Soderbergh movie where it's a ghost from the ghost's point of view. It's a haunted
Yeah.
house movie from the ghost POV.
which looks
yeah.
really cool. It's
It looks
Soderbergh
cool,
doing like a very spooky horror film that's like very moody. Yeah, I don't know. You're right that it's been like, I don't know. I think it continues to be extremely strong for horror, like 2024 into
smaller
25.
movies. Yeah.
But like mainstream big blockbusters, I haven't been feeling as much, and that's all right for me personally.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of horror, this first one was Companion, which I do believe we are in the Jack Quaid. This is Jack Quaid's world.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
all
this
living
is-
in it
yeah.
right now.
This
He
is
is in
Quaid's
so many
time.
things right now.
The
This is
kids love him.
They do. They love the Quaid. I'm glad that we
one
get
of the
more
Quaids. A specific Quaid.
I'm just happy that there's more Quaids. You know that the legacy continues.
Mhm.
People
This,
know this is Dennis Quaid's son, right? They
Yeah,
know
and
that?
Correct,
Meg Ryan, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He looks like both of them.
He sure does. But he's in like a bunch of movies right now. People
Yeah.
have realized that he has friendly sinister vibes. So like
Yes.
this is clearly taking advantage of that. We saw the teaser for this and the teaser was very cryptic. It's clear now this is from the point of view of a sex robot. It's
Mhm.
about it's Companion. It's a sex robot that is it looks like the guy is throwing her out because he's now like dating someone, right? That's what I think the plot is. It's about a guy who doesn't care about his sex robot anymore that's gained sentience, and then she gets revenge. It's like horror comedy. It's got Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows in there, which made me happy to see him.
Yeah.
What'd you guys
Sophie
think of this?
Thatcher is
Yeah.
is the companion bot.
The film, the trailer seems to imply that he did a jailbreak on his robot. That is, it was a
Yes.
sex bot, and he reset like the software and then set it so that it could do crimes on his behalf, and then it backfires because the robot gains sentience.
Right.
So
yes.
it's got a little bit of ex machina in there, as David, I think you said, and then a little bit of Westworld. It's got that Westworld vibe. Where again, same thing. Like those were robots that they were
Right. Yeah. It's kind of
sex robots who didn't realize it.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Yeah.
reveal in the trailer. You don't realize right away that she's a robot.
Yeah.
To
It's
the point
funny.
that I think
And
some people
it seems
would
like she
see
doesn't
that
know
as,
either. Sorry.
as kind of spoilery, right? Like, I wonder if that trailer doesn't give too much away, or maybe you find that out in the first 5 minutes of the film. But the trailer is so much of it. The first minute is very like, well, what's going on here? Why is she acting like that? Why is he treating her like this? And they just flat out say, well, you're a
Yeah.
sex robot that's been reset.
Well, it starts in a Sunset Boulevard type way too, where it starts like I loved him so much until the day I killed him. So you're like, oh, what's going on here? And then it goes in a completely different direction. You're like,
Yeah.
because that's like a pretty big offer right there. You're like, oh, color me intrigued. And then like within 30 seconds, also she's a robot.
I think, all right, my guess is that this is the first act, but it is like, because you think about if it is a spoiler, I can see an executive sitting there and going like, well, how else do we sell this? Because otherwise it's just like, oh, look at this like crime thriller that's mysterious. And it's like, you kind
the
of have
poster's
to
a little
people.
obvious too.
Yeah.
A little bit, not super obvious.
I think it's probably more like third act or first half or something. Because there's a lot of places to go with this, right? Like I don't know. It does feel like they're showing a lot, like her ramping up her own intelligence, and you kind of know how it's gonna go, right? Where it's the ex machina of it all, where it's like this person's probably gonna be liberated. It's probably, she's the protagonist. Like it's gonna be her fighting her programming, I assume. Because he has like this godlike power over her where he can make her do anything. It seems like at one point she gets his phone, right? That's how she ramps up the intelligence on it. So I do feel like they're telling a little too much because you kind of like, again, I kind of know where it's heading. But it's funny comparing it to Westworld or Ex Machina, because when I watched this trailer, my first thought was, what an original and like fresh idea. And then immediately realized like, oh no, it isn't. But it's just a really like a fun telling of that idea that I'm I'm excited to see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh no, it looks good.
Yeah,
Just the way, especially like the little comedy beat they have there. It's well staged. It's I think it's, and also it's something that I think needs to be explored a lot, because I see headlines routinely saying that we are very soon going to have sex robots that immediately would be the most popular product ever made the moment they exist. And I think that is deeply misguided, because I don't think you will have a sex robot that actually works and is satisfying unless it has some element of being able to tell you no, because there's no reciprocity. There's no like, oh, she's choosing to do this with me. And so you miss out on that if it's a robot that just does it whenever you want. I think the charm of that would wear off very, very quickly. So you almost have to have a self-aware machine before it would actually work in a way that people would enjoy. But then once you have that, you could also have a sex robot that just breaks up with you. And leaves.
Yeah, you get
and then it becomes her, right?
Yeah. Which is a very funny thing to happen.
Yeah.
I remember reading that like the two industries that are specifically thinking about AI in terms of like that are specifically training AI to replicate and understand human emotion, meaning that like the type of AI that would be not most likely necessarily, but like seems like it'd be more likely to become sentient, is sex robots and customer service robots. And it was like, oh, great. Like the two robots that will be dealing with the worst of us are the ones that are being trained to understand our emotions and trying to replicate emotions.
Right, because we treat people in those positions as disposable.
Right. And so it's like, people like customer service robots are going to be handling angry people all day. And it's like, that is a bleak look at humanity.
I was going to say, so it'll be 10 times worse on the robots.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck about a robot when I'm talking to him. Yeah. This is, again, there's a lot of places to go with this premise. And so I think, I don't know, like you mentioned Westworld. I think Westworld actually, for me, obviously, like they got so bogged down with like mystery box stuff. And then I enjoyed the first season, but like, it almost feels less threatening for the robots in that one because you're just sort of waiting for them to kill all humans. Whereas in this one, she's outnumbered. Like it's about this idea that she's sort of in a world that doesn't care about her, right? Like I doubt, like if she goes and tries to get help, I assume people won't help her because she's a robot or won't care about her well-being as much.
Just she's property.
Exactly.
She's somebody else's property. So that's, and I assume she's the protagonist of this. It's not totally clear when you watch it, but I assume that it's like from her POV.
Yeah, and I think unlike Ex Machina like to explore that idea of like what, does this thing deserve rights? Is it a robot or does it, like it asks those questions. This feels to be firmly on just like we're following this character we care about that is trying to find liberation from these freaks around her. That's what it feels like, which just seems very fun. Should we move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hard eyes. Not hard eyes. Heart eyes.
This is a slasher.
Yes.
I think we talked about it a little bit ago because I remember the kill they show in the very end where it's the camera looking through the hole through the girl's mouth.
Yes. We watched the teaser.
Right. Okay.
Very last time I was on here, I talked about how the secret to, because I think I had said that we should come up with a slasher franchise that we can just retire on, and that all you need is a Halloween costume. You need a slasher design that's a Halloween costume. If you can do that, and when I say that, I don't just mean for the sales of the costume. I mean, you need something that's simple, iconic, it sticks in your brain, instantly recognizable. And so here they've come up with this mask where he has 2 red eyes. The eye holes in his mask are shaped like hearts. Now, I think this is from the Scream people. I think they're doing this as like a commentary on that. This very much seems ironic and self-aware. So I think it's kind of like riffing on the idea of a killer having a gimmick that's a Halloween costume.
It's directed by Josh Rubin, who's a college humor alumnus, and he also did what did he do?
Werewolves Within
and Scare Me. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
One of the writers is Christopher Landon, who did Happy Death Day and Freaky and stuff. So
yeah, it's slasher is interesting because like this feels like almost a throwback to like the 2000s slashers. Like Urban Legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer, which are in themselves
were
throwbacks
to the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. And I realized that slasher is this like genre that it boils horror down to the very basics. What if a person who is in a scary mask is trying to stab you? And then every single new generation is like taking that very basic idea and going like, well, what can we do to subvert or change that idea, right? Like it's always been a little, I think, like when was the last time a slasher era, I want to say, has been like dead serious or unironic? I feel like it has to be the 80s.
And even then, it got ironic very quickly.
Yeah, because I was going to say there was ones in the 70s.
But
right?
I think the 70s is probably it. Because that's when they were first kind of becoming popular, at least the teen slashers. And they're all super serious.
Do you consider the Saw movies to be a slasher franchise?
Kind of, yeah.
Something different?
A little, yeah.
But I would say like when I think of like the entire era, because I think there's always been like the jokey ones during these eras, but like it's just funny because it feels like it's sort of how Arnold Schwarzenegger's career is parodies of films that he never made.
Yeah,
where you're like it always feels like it started as a parody. But like, I mean, this looks like a lot of fun. It looks like again like a kind of a fresh take, a honed in for like today, where it's like the humor is very today. The gore, they've upgraded the gore.
Yeah, it's less of like a subversion or a new way to do it, and it's just an update.
Yeah,
but with that same sort of spirit. Like even the guy's mask is kind of like has like an 80s vibe to it, like with the neon hard eyes. I do wonder if there's a place like In a Violent Nature is, I guess, technically a serious slasher.
I mean. I know.
You remember when he kills the guy with the hatchet?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's like I'm just wondering, like, is there a place to? I guess the new Halloween's tried to be that, where it's like to take itself completely seriously. It's hard. It's hard to do that now, and I'm not like.
I don't think so. It's just I think people expect it more from a slasher movie because a slasher movie is like it's like the popcorn version of horror. Like because the attraction there is the kills, right? You're going there. It's like slapstick. You're going there to watch the kills. It's like watching a Home Alone movie, basically, only bloodier. So I just think it's more common in slasher movies to be like meta or ironic, just because it's the kind of horror movie I think that almost anyone enjoys, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at the Final Destinations. I love because there are
those are great. I love.
What if we cut out the middleman?
Yeah.
What if we just
we don't need a murderer, just have it happen.
Yeah, it's an incredible idea.
Yeah, what a great premise.
But yeah, I bet this is this seems fun.
But yeah, I'm into it. I always am into a good slasher that is that doesn't chicken out. Because we often there's nothing worse than getting excited over a trailer for like a slasher movie, and then it's like PG-13. I'm like, well,
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, this one's going for it.
Oh, is this one R?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The trailer was R-rated. I mean, so hopefully.
I will say, so being around kids. So Megan, the movie Megan, one of my disappointments was that it was PG-13, right? Because it was just like, just go for it. Recently, my niece, who's like 4, is really into Megan. And so now I'm like, oh, well, I guess when she gets a little older, she can watch that. Like, she can actually watch it. So, like, it's like a nice little way to make horror accessible to children, I guess.
See, I had that with
Pipeline.
I had that with Jason in the 80s, Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Where I knew who he was years before I actually saw a movie,
Yeah.
It was like, boy, I can't wait till I can watch a Jason movie.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you got to start them somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, Megan is like a doll. It has kid appeal, kind of like Chucky. And it's like, yeah, okay. All right.
Jason had that too. I think Freddy did too. But Jason more so he has that action figure appeal.
Oh yeah, Jason was like RoboCop. He just had
he's
that
kind of cool looking.
Yeah. Anyway, The Woman in the Yard is the next one. We're really doing a lot of horror, at least at the start here.
It's January.
Yeah, this is about a woman in the yard, right?
Yeah,
she's in the yard. It's a problem. What are we going to do about that woman in the yard? Call the cops?
Probably.
This is Blumhouse horror. They're hit and miss, but they have a mechanism in place where it's keep it on a budget. And it's horror usually, and it will make back its money several times over.
For me, this one is I really like The Woman in Black, which was the same vibe as this Woman in the Yard, because she's also the Woman in Black. For me, I'm just like, this gets me. You literally just had to get an actress, put her in a veil, sit her out in the yard, make her talk creepy, and I'm like, yep, that'll do it for me. That'll freak me out. Like, I don't know what it is, but
this trailer doesn't give you much beyond that. It just gives you that visual and a vibe. There's not like a lot about plot or even necessarily when it's set or anything. It's all just that imagery and this creepy woman who is a harbinger of something, probably nothing good.
No, probably not good. Be amazing if they like won a prize.
What if it was? Yeah. What if she's like from Publishers Clearinghouse?
And she's like, my boss has been telling me to do things a little differently.
Yeah.
They don't like how I go about this.
It's the veil pulls the veil off, and it's Johnny Knoxville.
It's from the director of The Shallows and Orphan and House of Wax, and they've proven themselves to be a very effective horror director. We've talked about House of Wax. House of Wax is kind of a banger.
Yeah, there's not a bad reveal in House of Wax. It's genuinely creepy.
Yeah, and Orphan is pretty.
Orphan was creepy,
good.
even though I knew the twist. Like, I watching the movie, I was like, this is still this. I still don't like this. Like, this is making me uneasy.
Yeah, The Orphan is one of those movies where it's like, I remember kind of chuckling at it, the trailers, and then you watch it and you're like, damn, this is like a really effective horror thriller. And then, of course, The Shallows.
Yeah, The Shallows is pretty good. Pretty decent shark movie.
So, yeah, I don't know. I have high hopes for this.
Yeah. It's, so much horror is vibe based now. But Blumhouse does seem to go for vibes, but also like a ghoulie. There's always a ghoulie in it, it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Like
actually,
A24 is like it's like vibes, but it's vibes and also is there a ghoulie?
right.
And this one it's like no, there's a ghoulie, also vibes.
As someone who tries to write horror, I've been like focused on this fact because like you're right, it's all vibes, and it's like how do you write vibes in a script? Where you're like, and it'll be freaky when you see it. You know, like you can't say that in a script. So I've been trying, like I've been looking into. You can.
Have you read a Stephen King script?
No.
Go read the script for Silver Bullet. They sell it in there's an edition of Cycle of the Werewolf, which is a novella of his that's illustrated. There's a version that you can get that has comes with the screenplay for Silver Bullet, the film adaptation, and he wrote it, and it's fucking funny as hell. Like it's like the nerdiest version of Shane Black, if that makes sense.
Oh, that sounds great.
Like
I do think in general, when you're writing horror screenplay, the first step is you have to accept that 75% of the effectiveness of this is going to be in the sound design.
Yeah.
And then how it's shot and the lighting and all of that stuff. Like you can put whatever you want on the page. At the end of the day, if the director can't set a mood, it's not going to matter what your plot was or what words you wrote to come out of the characters' mouths. It's all going to be, because I've seen some really good horror movies that were based off of some extremely ridiculous and borderline bad screenplays, like Hereditary.
Oh yeah.
That's a movie that in the hands of a different director would be the worst thing you had ever seen. You would laugh your head off.
I haven't read the screenplay to that. I guess I need to.
No, I'm saying that it's when you watch it, it's clear.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's not, this wasn't on the page. Like the plot point of the little girl leaning out of the car like a dog and the telephone pole knocks her head off. Like that could be from the Farrelly brothers parody version of this movie.
Right, yeah.
That is
it's a Dumb and Dumber 2 gag.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, the way it's
there are several old men standing nudely in the background.
Right, and that's just the horror reveal. Or if there were many old nude men in your yard, it's like, yeah, that would be the worst thing that could possibly happen.
That would be terrifying. Yeah, Hitchcock should have made that instead of the birds.
Oh man. Oh, same scene in the birds, but nude men.
It's funny because we make that joke a lot for like really awesome fight scenes like The Raid. Most of the screenplay for The Raid is probably they fight.
Yeah.
So like, for a horror screenplay, it's just like, make it scary.
Bad Boys 2, famously, the scene where the truck drives through the shanty town and everything explodes. Remember that scene near the end of Bad Boys 2? It's like a
it's a
5
scene from
minute
Police
scene.
Story.
Yeah, that is apparently, I think, one sentence of the script. It is literally they drive through a town, and it's just like, yeah, that's nuts.
Battle of the Heroes in episode 3 is that they fight.
They fight. Yeah.
Pretty sure anyway.
Oh my God. One thing I just want to note about this director is that they are doing Cliffhanger, which is in post-production. There's already
Is it a remake? Is it a fucking remake of Cliffhanger?
Yes. There's already a poster. There's a production photo. It stars Lily James and Pierce Brosnan. And this thing is going to drop on us any second.
Is he the Lithgow?
I think he's the Lithgow.
Must be the Lithgow.
I am so fucking excited for this.
Fucking Cliffhanger.
They have been quietly making a cliffhanger. Why haven't I been told about this?
I hope Michael Rooker is in it in the same role and they just don't address it. 65-year-old mountain rescue worker. Just
wheezing through every
same opening. He's dating a 25-year-old, takes her up to a mountain and drops her.
The future is bright. Anyway.
Oh man. Yeah, because it's on fire.
Yeah. Let's talk about this next one. Now that we can get into action, Fight or Flight. Great title for a movie that takes an action movie on an airplane.
Okay, what's the Mel Gibson one called that's also out in a
movie? Oh yeah,
the Passenger or
no? It's like it does have flight.
Oh Christ, I have to look it up.
Mark Wahlberg has shaved a horseshoe into his head.
Plane movie.
He sure did.
Will Google know what that? It is called Flight Risk.
Flight Risk.
Okay. This is called Fight or Flight. So that Flight Risk, for people confused, That one has one murderer on a plane, and they find out in the middle of the flight there's a murderer on the flight, and there's only 3 people on a little Cessna, and they have to. There's like a thriller where they need him to land the plane, but he's a murderer, and they have to like fight him. This is a bunch of murderers on a much larger plane.
Incredible. You think they fought over the names and they had this moment of like, listen, it doesn't matter which one of us takes which. Like it really doesn't. Which one? Just pick one out of a hat.
Flight Risk is more appropriate for the other one, though. That is a pretty clever title because they're escorting a prisoner and Mark Wahlberg is there to assassinate him.
Okay. Fair enough. This is all right. We got the return of Josh Hartnett.
Man, I'm so glad he's back.
Baby.
So glad he's back. Trapped and he's so much fun.
He's got Slim Shady hair in this.
He sure does.
I love that.
He's got Sugar Ray hair.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, is that coming back? Oh no. And yeah, it's a great disguise on a plane, though, but assassins.
It's basically Bullet Train on an airplane. Bullet
Train.
I was going to say that
Con Air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah. I was just going to say that that dyed hair look is a perfect disguise because the instant you see somebody with that hair, you look away.
Yeah, it's true. You just don't want to.
You're just like, oh,
yeah, it's like crying on the bus. No one's going to sit next to you.
That's the best disguise. Just start weeping.
Yeah. This is directed by a visual effects artist. They've directed a few looks like TV show episodes, but that's it. It looks like it just occurred to me because you mentioned Con Air and we watched Passenger 57, right?
We did.
And the one thing about both of those movies that I always notice is they're from the era where action is car chases, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. I love them. But the fights themselves are usually just people punching. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and both of those movies,
that wasn't the focus.
Right. Both of those movies have to land the plane. Because
Several
they have
times.
Yeah.
The majority of those movies don't take place on the airplane.
Because they're like, to do the action, we need to have, and for like, I realized martial arts movies, it's like, no, you can stay in the air because what people are there to watch is 2 skilled performers wailing on each other in cool ways. It doesn't really matter where they are.
Yeah.
It's
I want to see people get kicked in an airplane.
Yeah.
The way Con Air handled it is halfway through the film, they had to land to refuel.
Yeah.
And that created a separate, because again, I think most directors, most writers, most performers think it's too restrictive to have the whole thing take place on the plane. They usually come up with an excuse to either have a subplot on the ground that also has action. Because there was, what was that Cillian Murphy
Red Eye
movie from
Red Eye.
Yeah. Same deal. Like they actually get out of the plane. The whole final act is on the ground because eventually they're like, no, there's not enough variety. The space doesn't offer you enough variety, enough opportunity. I'm trying to remember the one where Harrison Ford is the
Air Force One. Yeah.
He has to do a Die Hard on Air Force One. Same deal. I definitely remember one. So the way they
keep cutting back to the Joint Chiefs and stuff.
Yeah, they treat it like a political thriller. They treat it more like a thriller where it's like, also they make the plane gigantic. These movies often make the plane gigantic where you're like, I've never been on a plane that's like
huge,
3 floors.
The size of a city block.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's floors, different floors to the plane. Yeah.
Planes are they're kind of the white whales of Hollywood, I'd say, because the thing about plane movies is that they're very cheap. If you can keep them on a plane, because the set is one long tube and there's a million plane sets that already exist. So it's like, if you can write a movie that takes place on a plane that is profitable, they'll love you for it. The problem is this problem, which is like, well, planes are boring. Like everybody has to sit. That's the whole thing, right? Is like on a plane, everybody is told you have to sit at all times. You can do a plane disaster, but it's like, we've done a million of those. So it's really hard, I think, to make one that's going to like stay in the plane.
What was that one that had Frasier?
Money Plane.
Money Plane. Yeah.
And Edge.
I hope he was playing Frasier in that film, but it had Kelsey Grammer as like a mob boss, and I assume because there's either a grounded plane or a bunch of grounded planes that have been turned into shooting spaces, filming spaces that I think costs very little to rent that thing out. And then because your windows are just green, and then you can just,
Yeah.
fill in
Or it takes
clouds.
place at night, and then you don't have
Yeah.
to do shit. Yeah. It's just hard. It's just hard. Again, it's hard to sustain a plot on a plane.
I mean, you put some snakes on that plane.
You put some snakes on the plane. That was one of the few where it's like they did it. They do
the B plot thing, but
snakes.
they don't really leave the plane.
No. All right. Let's talk about Zero Day. I didn't know it was a mini series. This is Jesse Plemons is there, Robert De Niro. Everybody's being real serious.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it's about.
It's about the idea that there was a cyber attack on America, and this is about the aftermath. So like that one that Obama produced, this is like the sequel, you could call it. But not really, but you know what I mean. I think it's about like the idea of like what lengths do we go, like surveillance state, yada yada, to protect, because it's like people being like the next cyber attack is going to happen. How do we stop it?
Did Obama produce a fiction movie for Netflix? Yeah. It wasn't like a documentary? What was it?
It wasn't a documentary. Shit, what was it called? People are screaming it right now. Let me go on Obama's IMDb.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious if it was just like an 80s style like sex comedy, like a bikini car wash type movie, just constant excuses to show naked boobs in every other scene.
It was called Leave the World Behind. It would be awesome if he just did a regular thriller. The thing, I don't know if you guys saw that movie. Here's what I'll say about it. It was weirdly pessimistic for something produced by Obama. Like that kind of bothered me, where I was like, it was sort of like this, like, can you believe it? Like, let's the world coming to it. I'm like, you were a president. Like, surely you have some way to change things, not by making a movie. But it was good. Like, well made. Did you guys see it?
No, this is my first time I'm hearing about it.
Oh yeah.
But the 0 Day, it's because it's a limited one-off miniseries, and this is something I don't want to make it sound like I'm super connected in Hollywood. Of the people on this podcast, I probably am the least connected in Hollywood. But I do take meetings, and one of the meetings it came up that there was a span of a few years where every idea that was going around, when you were pitching it, stuff that used to be a feature premise, they were pitching it as limited series. Because there was a time not that very long ago when all of the streaming services wanted watch time. That was their whole thing. So, for example, it is my understanding that Moana 2 was supposed to be a Disney Plus series that they just edited down into a feature, because in the last couple of years that has pivoted. And they're going away from that. And apparently Netflix and Prime and all these Hulu, all these platforms are saying, no, get it to us as a feature, 1-2 hour thing. So this 0 Day feels like a holdover, where it very clearly seems like a feature film premise. Like one thing happens. There's a crime we're trying to solve, and it's like a political espionage thriller or whatever. But it became however many episodes, 6 or 8 episodes, and that's the way you used to do it. And the vast majority of time you could tell this is a premise that did not have 8 hours in it.
Yeah,
they stretched out the middle with a bunch of subplots and false ends and dead ends and stuff that was just there to, because there was a time in that streaming model where they thought that was the goal, minutes watched. And now I think they've gone away from it. I don't know why. I know the economics of streaming have totally changed in the last few years.
Streaming has gotten. Without spoiling it, but did you guys watch the new Squid Game season 2?
No.
Sure.
All I'll say is like I enjoyed it, but the pacing was so weird in that you got the feeling that like they stretched out a season's worth to 2 because they like abruptly cut it. Episodes would end in places that were kind of weird, where I'm like, well, that's not really a cliffhanger. So it's like it was good, but like the pacing itself felt like they had just like filmed one continuous episode and then like chopped it up where they could or something. I don't know. It definitely feels like they're trying to like figure out the math now with this stuff.
The subplot of the cop investigating the Squid Games, the subplot of the body part thieves and organ traffickers, totally unnecessary. That stuff that was in there,
You're right.
I feel like, including season 1, was in there to make it longer. Because they did not, again, what we just said, like not keeping everything on the plane. They did not want to keep everything at the game. So they keep cutting outside the games. I don't think it needs it. But I think if you're trying to stretch it into, however many hours it was, and you need all this other variety and all these other characters.
I actually have a case for it, which is that I realize Squid Games is like, it's like they asked a computer to create the most like addicting show or the most like showy show. Because I realized that the Squid Games themselves give you the like dopamine release of reality TV, right? Where you're like, what are the alliances going to be? What's going to happen? It's all scripted, it's all fake, but it doesn't matter. It turns out, like my brain's still doing the same thing I do when I watch British Bake Off. But then they need the other dopamine thing, right? Which is the intrigue, the mystery, the like uncovering stuff. So like they have both that they've managed to have that I feel like it's like maximum dopamine release, and the audiences being like, ooh, I get like this reality TV thing. And then I also get the like, ooh, who's behind it all? Mystery box uncovering everything.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
What's that? Oh, you're right that technically it doesn't need to be there, but I feel like they've figured out the perfect formula.
Yeah, the first season, I've seen the first season. It reminded me of the first season of Lost.
Yeah.
Where they do the games and then let's get into the background of this character. Let's get into the background of this character.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this one,
Zero Day. It looks fine. I think you're right. Is like if this was a movie, I'd be way more into it. I just whenever I see Jesse Plemons, I'm like, hell yeah. I also just like when there's like completely serious thrillers about like hackers and stuff where they're really like, I like it whenever like you look at this and you're like, man, in 10 years, this might be very silly. You know what I mean? Like any like tech terrorism stuff. But I appreciate them taking that swing and being like, let's make a really serious film.
Yeah.
About like tech, about like evil hackers.
I'm always on the lookout for a new swordfish.
Yeah.
The lead is Robert De Niro, who is 81. So that's someone else who, when we get that news, it's going to be
that is going to
tough
be
to wrap your brain around it.
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess, Oblivion, this next one is called Love Me. It's about it's about a satellite and a buoy falling in love after all of humanity has died out. It's WALL-E. It's a WALL-E.
Basically.
But somehow both presenting as more optimistic while being less optimistic, because in WALL-E humans existed.
Right. This is literally the meme of the world's going to end and it's going to be nothing but corporate chatbots talking to each other on Twitter. Like, that's literally what this movie is. I like the premise, but the tone to me is insane. It's like treating it like it's this uplifting love story about a buoy falling in love with a satellite.
It's got a great cast.
Yeah.
It's a, like you said, it's I think a really good premise. It's not getting good reviews, and I wonder if it's because like this trailer really does present it as like, look at this touching love story. Isn't it great that they could find love? And it's like, it's a buoy and a satellite and all the humans are dead. Like this should be more fucked up. Like this is a great premise. It should be more like, well, Lynchian, sadly. Like it should be be bittersweet. And
47% on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, people don't seem to be into it.
No.
A great cast, Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun. And it's one of those cases where I think the premise is so good and so interesting that if you just had that log line, I could see why a studio approved it based on, oh yeah, everybody's going to be talking about this. It's such a unique twist that it seems like the people have actually seen it. Like, no, actually, there's nothing else there. But
is a shame because Kristen Stewart, I love the weird shit she loves. So like maybe I'll like this. Like Personal Shopper, did that have good reviews? Because I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie's...
let me look at that reviews for that. Like she does weird shit. No, it has good reviews. So like, you know, I'd like to think maybe this is weirder and maybe they're trying to sell it this way. You know what I mean? Where they're like, no one's going to watch this. It's too depressing. Let's make it sound like an uplifting love story or something. But it really does feel like the tone is like, see, guys, it'll be fine. Like, that's the tone, is like, let's roll over and accept oblivion. It'll be fine. The robots will have fun and recreate our spirit. Our memory will go on in them. And it's just so weird to be told that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think a more interesting version of this would be like showing them trying to have a relationship when all they have is whatever they've scraped from the internet or whatever database they have of human knowledge and behavior. And then it kind of breaking down, like, you know, like in a, I don't know, like the way AI does.
Yeah.
When it just becomes iterative of itself over.
Yeah,
and
where
over
they
and
go
over
insane
again.
or something.
Yeah.
Or lean into it. Like do Wall-E, right? But like instead of trash, it's bones that they're rolling over all the time. And it's like, make it ironic. You know what I mean? Where this doesn't feel like, it's like, look at this beautiful shot of like buildings underwater. You know how it does work though? There's that movie, Flow. It's a cartoon about a cat surviving the apocalypse with all the animal friends. I think when you port it over to animals, it works because we like animals. And it's like reassuring where it's like, okay, we might kill ourselves, but the animals will be fine. They'll be happy. And then it's like, all right, that works. That makes me feel better, you know? But being like, don't worry, the robots will be fine. I'm like,
right, it's like a Ray Bradbury story. Like what?
Yeah.
You know, like it should be a little bit more sinister. I don't know. I mean, but I feel weird saying it because I love Wall-E, and that's not that different of a premise. I'm not sure what exactly the difference is.
The difference
but there
is
a
the
difference.
presence of humans.
That's certainly
in
part
Wall-E,
of it. Yeah.
In Wall-E, it adds humans and rebuilds humanity. Spoilers for Wall-E. This one seems to be like hopeless. But again, we're just going off the trailer, so
yeah.
Any other thoughts? Should
Nope.
we move on to the big one, big main event in the Lost Lands?
In the Lost Lands.
From George R. Martin
and Paul W.S. Anderson.
Together at last. Holy shit.
So this was, they optioned, it looks like a series of short stories from George R. R. Martin that I assume he wrote a long time ago, because this film has been in the works from Paul W.S. Anderson. People don't know he's the Resident Evil movies guy and the Alien versus Predator movies guy, and his films have a distinct look to them.
He's wife guy of Mila Jovovich. Like he makes movies.
And she's in this.
Yeah.
And also Dave Bautista, who I think since this project, since he signed on to this, has gone on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
But this movie's been on the shelf for a while. It's kind of been bouncing around. It very much looks like a Resident Evil film. It has that weird brand of CG and fight choreography that Paul W.S. Anderson likes.
Yeah.
It looks very 2000s. Yeah.
It really does. It really looks like, because George R. R. Martin, I realized, because like Game of Thrones, obviously biggest thing, kind of went out with a fizzle, and now they have this new show, and I never hear about the new show, so I just have to kind of assume it's not the biggest show in the world. You know, like Game of Thrones was like, was it the last, I guess, Squid Game-ish, but it was like, that was huge, right? Like when it was happening.
Yes and no. Like you'd be surprised at how small. I mean, it was pretty huge, but like still not that many people.
Right.
It was like kind of surprising.
Right. Nothing can be like the Seinfeld finale anymore.
Or MASH, because it's not like broadcast. It was on premium cable and it's not available in every country. All that stuff. Yeah. We
have choices now, but like that's all to say that this definitely feels like it was developed when they were like, George R. R. Martin is the new J.K. Rowling. He can't be stopped. Like everything, let's get everything of his. Let's make it. And then it feels like it was slowly like whittled down until they're like, Paul W.S. Anderson's like, can I have it? And they're like, yeah, man.
Sure, man.
Go for it. Just keep it under this budget.
From George R. R. Martin, the visionary mind behind TV's Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. And there's a reason to Paul W.S. Anderson's credit, the reason he makes so many movies, right, is like there's clearly a formula he has.
Well, it's in Jason's notes, so I'll let you speak to it, but he's a safe bet for studios. He makes money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the last Resident Evil movie he made, Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, it had a budget of $40 million, but it grossed over 300 almost all of it in China and in other, like 285 million of it was elsewhere.
Yeah.
So his movies they just print money, and again, keeps these budgets down. This film did not cost probably $40 million to make. There's effects in every single scene, but it's the kind of effects that I don't think cost a lot to make, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So he has figured out what kind of thing he wants to make, and that's what he's going to do until he dies.
Yep.
He's going to star his wife in a bunch of these sci-fi action monster things where they fight CG monsters, and sure, there's a lot of jobs worse than that.
Yeah, that's
that's
cool
the
one.
thing. Like he is like kind of living the dream. He's like, I see my wife all day. We hang out. We make movies. They make just enough money that we're always like, we're paying the bills. We're living great. I assume. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf at their house. I don't know, but like that's what it seems like. Where it's like these two are just they're nailing it. They're just having their own little paradise here, and like I don't know. Good for them.
They just keep making movies where they're just smashing action figures together, basically.
Yeah, I can never be mad at Paul W.S. Anderson.
Me either. He's going to be another one that's going to be weird when he dies. Yeah, he made Mortal Kombat, man.
He gave me Event Horizon.
Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Come on. Soldier.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, good on you, man. Yeah, you enjoy your weird retirement.
Yeah. He gave us the blood orgy, man. He's earned it.
Yeah. And so like for me, the shocking thing is George R. R. Martin. I didn't know what to make of that, but Jason saying the short story thing makes more sense now.
Yeah. I think
they bought
they bought like 3 of his short stories. This is just going off of Wikipedia. They bought like 3 of his short stories and mashed them together into a feature length thing.
I really hope they gave him. See, I hope it's the flip side where they gave him creative control. They gave George R. R. Martin creative control, and they're like, "You're on top of the world. Anything you want." And he's like, "I want Paul W.S. Anderson." And
this is like, Howard the Duck.
Yeah. And they're like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yes,
and
I will take nothing
Batista.
else." Yeah.
I'm gonna roll the dice here and bet that George R. R. Martin has no idea this film ever went into production and still
No
does
idea
not
it's
realize
coming out.
The trailer pops up, and he's just like, "Huh."
I think he's gonna go see a movie, some other movie, and this trailer is gonna come up in front of him. He's gonna be like, when did we do that?
He must be at the level where he doesn't notice $100,000 deposits in his account, right? So it's possible he missed this entirely.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista's character's name is Boyce, which just sounds like what like someone from Boston would call his friends. Like, just what's up, Boyce?
Right, it sounds like you're saying his name wrong.
Yeah. Man, this, by the way, I hope this is the best film ever made. It makes billions of dollars, but it does have that. Oh, I don't even remember the name anymore. The last Zack Snyder.
Fucking Rebel Moon.
Right, it's got Rebel Moon like energy, where
a
it's
little,
that,
but
it's
like
that gray, colorless look, where you're just like,
yeah, to that extent, yeah, for sure. That's just that look that Jason was talking about. Like pretty much all of his Resident Evil movies kind of have that look too.
And it's got that serious sci-fi where I'm like, I don't sense any charisma from any character in this.
It's goofy as hell though. Like it seems to, all of his movies kind of acknowledge this. I think they do it without being meta, like without being winky, but like you can kind of tell that they're intentionally corny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or at least that they're aware it's corny, but we're all just having fun, so who cares? Like they're very self-serious, but the movies themselves are silly. The characters take it serious, but the movies are silly.
He's making beautiful artifacts, and what I mean is like
fascinating time capsules. Yeah,
movies that we look at movies in the '80s like this. Like, what is it, Norm the Gnome? And you're like, what the fuck is this? Where did this come from?
Norm,
yeah, that's it. By the way, he's also attached to The House of the Dead, writing and directing that after this. He's remaking the
Uwe Boll film.
Yeah, one assumes. Yeah,
sure. I mean, what can the rights to House of the Dead cost these days? Like, why not?
Why not
to take it?
All right, let's keep going then to A Working Man.
Jason Statham movie, and it's weird because he is like his own franchise. He's never had, because
Right.
he's been in like 7 Fast and Furious movies at this point, and he's made, like, they did a sequel to Meg, or The Meg, the giant shark movie. He's been in a bunch of sequels. I think they did multiple, like they did a sequel to The Mechanic. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but he's never had that one franchise that's his, that he's leading it, and it goes on forever. Like when you watch The Beekeeper, and those of you out there who have not seen The Beekeeper, please watch The Beekeeper tonight on streaming. It's clear that was intended to go on forever. Like, that's a premise, is ex special forces, whatever, and he avenges the innocence of the world, and just every movie takes on a new criminal organization. It's clear they wanted that to be, they want Beekeeper 7, in 2035. They want to keep making them. He's never landed on that. So like here, a working man, this is the exact same setup. A guy who's doing a normal job, but he secretly is the world's biggest badass because he's used to be special forces or whatever. And now he's taking down the human traffickers from Taken.
I love that he and David Ayer, who also directed The Beekeeper, are just making like boomer revenge porn now. They're making the Death Wish movies of this current generation.
I love that they're like Jason Statham, everyday American guy. They're doing that where it's like they used to do that with Schwarzenegger. Like The Beekeeper was that. This feels like they just shot it on the set of The Beekeeper, where they're like, well, we got the equipment. Let's just do a take for The Beekeeper and then do a take for this one. And, you wrote in your notes, this seems like it was written by AI. I have to correct you. It was written by Sylvester Stallone. It was a novel adapted by Sylvester Stallone. The novel's called Levon's Trade. It's called Levon's Trade. The credits are Chuck Dixon, the novelist, and Sylvester Stallone. So I guess Stallone read this book and was like, I'm going to write this. And then handed it to Jason Statham.
I wonder. He's his Expendables.
He writes a lot.
Buddy. Yeah, he does. He broke in as a writer.
He did, but I still think it's very funny that in 2024 or whatever year it was being made, that I love the idea of the producers, like they had this property and like, we've got to get a writer on this. Who do you know that can knock out
who's available?
Get a good script. Who's available to write this? What about Sly Stallone?
Yeah, he's looking for a project.
You want him to star as in the Jason Statham role? No. We want him to write it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's hard to imagine him in front of Final Draft.
Picturing him in front of a typewriter is just
But he does it apparently a lot. So yeah, I can't fucking wait for whatever this is going to be.
I hope they keep making these movies until the world is dust.
Yeah. And the thing
I never
is,
want them to stop.
It 100% looks like there are scenes and shots that they shot for The Beekeeper that didn't make that movie, and they just copied they did what I would do with novels. When there's a scene that didn't make it into the last one, I'll just copy and paste it into the next doc. Like, we'll find a place for the next one.
He's wearing the same outfit in some of these shots. Yeah.
I'm just imagining like a lot of shots from behind the character's head where the guy, he clearly at one point was saying, they call him the Beekeeper, and they've just dubbed in his voice in ADR. They call him the working man.
I'm imagining Ayer in the editing room, just like, okay, so this is where he's upset about his bees. Oh, right. Okay, right. Working man. All right.
Working man. Right.
Man. So I gotta say, I do miss lovable scamp Jason Statham and the Guy Ritchie stuff. Like, remember how he used to be like, I'm a crime scamp, and like he used to be like,
he wasn't kicking people like
and he was like scared for his life. And it's now you watch those and you're like, just do a fucking backflip over him, Statham. Like,
you're the transporter, man. Just oil yourself up and kick him.
But I do think he should bring that back a little. That's the one thing. Like, I love what he's doing, but
I don't know if he could do it now, because you just be sitting there watching him like, well, fucking kick him. What are you doing?
Right.
As we discuss all of this, I'm realizing I did not paste in the trailer for season 3 of Reacher. That came out in the span because it would have been for last week's episode, but we never got to do it. But I should have pasted that in.
You should have.
Season 3 of Reacher, there's an even bigger bad guy He's like a foot taller than Reacher, and it's like, well, what if Reacher's not the biggest one? What if he's not the biggest and strongest? Then what then? And he just made a whole nation full of dads like on the edge of their seat. Like,
That's
had they
amazing.
finally found a man even bigger than Reacher? Oh no. Hopefully the fact that Reacher is a super genius who anticipates everyone's move 5 steps ahead will help him overcome the fact that they found an even bigger man.
It's
Incredible.
compelling television. I love how much dad TV that Amazon is making. We got Reacher, we got Bosch, we got Cross.
I can't wait for Cross. Is that out?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Fuck. All right, I gotta get
Man,
on
you
some
gotta watch. You
Cross.
gotta watch Jack Reacher.
I gotta watch Jack Reacher. Yeah, I'm
the
behind.
premise of the entire show is Jack Reacher, the biggest man in the universe, walks into a location, and 3 random dudes half his size say, "Get him!"
Yeah,
That's the entire show.
I've discussed this on other podcasts, but there's a plot point in season 1 of Reacher where he has to get himself thrown in jail because he's protecting a guy. That's why he's been hired to do, who's a target for assassination by organized crime or whatever. So that guy is in prison. So Reacher has to like get himself arrested. And he goes in the prison cell, and immediately a bunch of dudes are coming up to Reacher and be like, well, who's this pretty boy? Looks like we got some fresh meat in here. And the guys saying it are saying that into Reacher's chest because he's 8 feet tall and this giant man just made of muscle. And he's got like cuts and stuff on his face because the thing he did to get into jail, he beat up like 75 guys. So it's like, what could you? And so, of course, the next scene, the suspense is, well, hey, maybe, maybe these little guys, maybe they're actually pretty tough because they're prisoners. Is Reacher going to be able to effortlessly beat them to death? And in that very scene, 30 seconds later, yeah, he beats them all to death. Without stressing, he's not even breaking a sweat. Like that is, there's no suspense in this show whatsoever. It's just watching Jack Reacher beat up all of the bad people in the world. It's never a fair fight. It's great.
It's amazing. The reveal needs to
be the
be
Steven
like
Seagal formula, basically, but it's done well this time.
It's popping bubble wrap where you're just watching a guy punch people. They need to reveal that these guys are doing like a Leaving Las Vegas or something. Where
they're trying to cash in on their life insurance for their family. They can't commit suicide, so they. Because that was the thing, like fans of the books were outraged when Tom Cruise was cast to be Reacher in those films. But it made so much more sense because
now
Tom
I get it.
Cruise
Yeah,
is 4'11" and looks like a guy you can bully. And so then when he takes everybody out, there's like legitimate surprise because there's like a classic scene in the first Reacher Tom Cruise movie where a bunch of guys approach him in a parking lot and they're like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?" And it's like, okay, that makes sense. They see this guy, middle-aged little dude, and they think they can push him around, and then it turns out he's superhuman. Well, they had that exact same scene in season 1 of Reacher, where he's in the same parking lot, and they're like these 3 skinny dirtbags, like, "Well, we don't like your kind around here. What are you going to do about it?" And Reacher's just towering over them. It literally looks like children taunting an adult. And so all those lines about like, "Hey, I'm going to leave one of you alive to take the rest of you to the hospital as an act of mercy." It's
right. The whole point of those lines is this guy looks like nothing, and then he's like, and they all laugh when he's like, "I'll leave one of your hands intact," and they're like, "Oh, big man," and you're watching, going like, "Oh, you don't know what's in store." But yeah, if it's the Hulk saying that,
well,
it's just a bully. Then he's just bullying these men.
Yeah, I get that for like drama and everything else, but like the way the books are written and the way the Amazon show is, I also get that.
The Amazon show I'm sure has a far bigger audience than those Tom Cruise movies because that's actually what the dads want. He's just out here to beat up the bad people. There's no suspense, there's no twist.
It's also I don't know why he gets
exactly the way you think.
It's like I'm also not sure because like why do people get so offended by his existence in general? Because like he's just a very tall, handsome, muscular white man, right?
I'm
like
telling you,
the country is made for him.
Telling you, every scene, it's just these
I know,
guys
it's
going
amazing.
like, "Get him!"
It's amazing.
Somebody finds some reason to attack him. The last thing I wanted to say about Reacher is I remember when the outcry over Tom Cruise makes sense to me now, because watching the show, I'm like, oh yes, this is perfect.
Yeah. I just want someone reveal that in this universe there was a terrorist attack by a bodybuilder and everybody just hates bodybuilders or something, like
discrimination.
Yeah.
But they always approach him with like a broken beer bottle or something, like threatening him. They're not showing up with all of them with shotguns pointed at his head. It's
right.
Like, no, even that's probably not enough to bring him down. No, it's always like a homemade knife the guy's made. He's brought from his kitchen. It's like, yeah, you want some of this? How? And he just squishes him like a bug. And
Amazing.
all the dads like, yes, this is what real life should be like every day.
Every now and then I like things to be uncomplicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it sounds
Reacher.
Delightful.
We basically covered the Reacher trailer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry. I didn't.
No, I
realize
mean-
that. I didn't want to make you do it again.
Oh, it's
Oh no,
fine.
no, I'm saying it didn't matter that you didn't paste it in, because now
Oh,
we've
right.
basically covered.
Oh no! If you close your eyes and imagine the Reacher trailer, it's exactly what you're imagining. I tell you right now. In
Yeah.
fact, the whole series, if you just close your eyes and imagine a giant man beating the crap out of several low-income thugs, yeah, that's it. You have the pleasure of watching it. You can save on a Prime membership if you don't have it. I added this, the Daredevil Born Again. They released a trailer for the Disney reboot of the old Netflix Daredevil show, which at the time was a revelation because it's like the dim, gritty, but fighting in alleys superhero show. But it's now been, obviously with the mergers and all that character's now with Disney, and Disney Plus brought back, what's the name of the actor that plays Matt Murdock?
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah,
I was
brought back.
Big fan of the original, the Netflix. To me, that was like my favorite thing Marvel did.
It remains one of the coolest ones, yeah, because
But
it genuinely was like a different take on the universe with a different stakes and a different like tone.
But it got canceled, did it not? Didn't it only last like 2 or 3 seasons?
3
And they tried to
seasons.
do-
Yeah.
okay. What happened to it?
Well, I think Marvel screwed over Netflix, right?
The
There was this
Netflix
whole thing.
Deal ended or something, I think, and then it was something with the rights. I'm
It was just a rights issue. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. It was yeah, it was sort of it was frustrating, right? Because like I liked all those Netflix ones, and then Marvel sort of like didn't renew it and then didn't just let it be. And it was like I kept thinking like they're never going to do it on Disney Plus, right? If they bring back Daredevil, it'll be like the Marvel version. And they seem to be committed to the idea of like, no, we know you liked that. And so here's like the gritty, bloody Daredevil. And I'm still kind of like suspicious where I'm like, is it going to be?
I mean, Night Bitch is on Disney Plus. Like it's very, very, like they just sort of integrated Hulu and stuff into Disney Plus, unless you turn on the adult. So it's just like basically any other streaming platform now. So, I mean, it just looks like this is season 4 of Daredevil.
That's what I'm really hoping.
You got John Bernthal is back as the Punisher.
Yep. The showrunner. Ooh. So some interesting thing is the showrunner of this is the producer and a writer for the Punisher.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah. Which the fact that there's a showrunner, apparently this was in like, so they did a reset on this, which made people nervous, right? Because they let go the 2 head writers after a bunch of episodes had been filmed, and they overhauled it. One of the issues that I'm reading is that apparently Daredevil didn't show up in costume till the 4th episode, which I'm like, so fucking what? But okay. But the fact, so one of the overhauls they did apparently was they started pushing showrunners instead of head writers, which was an old tradition. Like we used to have showrunners.
That was a big controversy for Disney, actually.
Yeah, and so like
ago.
It's possible that the reset is them going, all right, let's do it right, and have like a singular voice overseeing it. Now, whether or not that voice will do what's in the other seasons, we'll see. But also, if it's different, that's fine too. It more has to just match the tone, right, and the feel. Everybody's back. I'm pretty sure, right?
It looks like it, yeah.
So yeah, I'm very curious.
Vincent D'Onofrio is mayor now.
people on the TikTok were complaining about how it kind of has the Disney Plus sheen, which you can tell like the contrast is different.
Yeah.
Like
they're doing
diner
like
scene.
side by side screen grabs of and maybe the lighting's a little bit more flat or something, but I don't know. I'm not one of those guys. But here again, what they're doing with the MCU splitting it between, because for example, I thought the new Captain America movie, I thought that was a streaming series. And did they, was it at one time?
It was. They made one season of that.
Okay.
Falcon and
Disney,
Winter Soldier,
yeah. Disney I'm generally like exhausted by their streaming, which is like I tried to watch, what was that? Not the last Star Wars, but the one before it. The one that got canceled.
The Acolyte.
Like the Acolyte. I was halfway through season 1 of the Acolyte when I heard it got canceled.
Yep.
And I'm like, you're not giving me a chance to watch your things. And like to this day, I'm like, is there how many shows on Disney haven't been canceled? Like their ratio, most of their stuff gets canceled, right? It runs like a season and we never think about it again, or we find out season 2 has been canceled. Like it's what? The Mandalorian is still kicking.
But aren't they doing a feature film, a baby Yoda feature film instead
They
of
are doing,
right? They are.
See, I think that's the next thing. I think the stuff is all going back to features again. I think the financial model has changed for whatever reason.
But I'm realizing the weirdest thing they did, which really screwed them up, and I know they know, is like they started picking like WandaVision, those TV shows that were only intended to go for one season, but linked multiple movies. So you'd be like, I have to watch this movie and then a TV show season, and then so I can watch the other movies. I watched Agatha All Along, which is like kind of related to WandaVision, but trying to be its own thing. Very fun, by the way. I enjoyed that. But it's gotten real fucking confusing out there.
Well, I'll even tell you this. We have Disney Plus at our household, and somebody recommended to my wife that she watch the WandaVision show, and she's never seen an MCU movie in her life. She hates superhero stuff, but somebody's like, no, you don't need to have watched all those movies. It's just a really good, it's a really cool creative choice. And she's like, what is any of this? And I was trying to like do the math on how many movies she would have to watch to understand who the Scarlet Witch and Vision is and what their relationship means and all that. It's quite a few. It's just at this point, it has to be impenetrable to somebody coming in from outside who doesn't want to watch literally 30 movies.
Yeah. No, the formula, what's funny is that they have a formula and it works, which is here's a movie about a superhero. Here's a movie about a superhero. Here's 4 movies about different superheroes. Here's one movie where they all get together. Wasn't that fun? All right, let's reset. Here's another movie about like, that's all you have to do. And like, you look at the Netflix shows, they did that too, where they're like, here's Daredevil. Here's Jessica Jones. Here's all these people. Yep. And now they got together. Here's what season where they got together. And it's fun. I loved that. And it's like, that's all you have to do. That's it. But then it just got so interwoven.
Well, it's comic books too. You have everybody has their own comics, and there's a big annual storyline that everybody comes together on each year.
Right. And if you only watched one of those shows, so be it. You know, it's like, okay, well, I won't watch the one where they get together, or maybe I will, but like I still enjoyed this standalone story that doesn't interconnect with all these other things. It just got so bogged down. But this seems like they're sort of just being like, we're doing Daredevil. It's the Daredevil world. It seems like they're going to bring in like because I feel like they're going to bring in what were they called? The team version, the Avengers
the Defenders.
version. It feels like they're going to test the waters, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, what do you guys think about Jessica Jones coming back? Like, here she is in an episode. But I'd be happy if they bring it all back.
I did like the Netflix stuff. Yeah.
The problem is that like Vincent D'Onofrio is in the Hawkeye series as Kingpin. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't.
They make him like superhuman suddenly. They make him have like super strength for the Hawkeye, and that kind of worries me because he was not that in this series. I don't know.
Like how super?
Like he took more abuse. Like I feel like he took a car. He took getting hit by a car. I feel like he started becoming like he'd get back up after things that you're not supposed to get back up after, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember. I just remember at the time being like, oh, well, they fucked this up. So I don't know.
One final side note: anytime I see something about Daredevil or Matt Murdock and his dual role as an attorney and a superhero, I'm reminded of I have this terrible idea for a movie or a series in my mind, and I'm offering it for free to anyone out there with the power to make it. I demand no money from it. But it's called Judge, Jury, and Executioner, and it's about a guy with multiple personalities where during the day he's a judge, but at night a different personality takes over. He becomes the executioner, where he takes out all of the bad guys that got off on like a technicality. And then there's one of the trials where he has a third personality that's a member of the jury. Yeah, and that's only so you can call it judge, jury, and executioner. But he has all three of them. Now, how would he in real life function as a judge and a member of the jury when it's the same guy with multiple personalities? That's something for you to work out.
I have a pitch for you, Jason. So he sees his dead friend in the jury. It's a projection. It's technically him, but it's like he sees someone like a jury member, and that's how he realizes. Like he looks over at his friend in court, and if his friend is like shaking his head or something, then he goes out in the night and kills that person who got off on the technicality. Like it's
the ghost of the person who was killed by the person he let off, thus beginning his life as the executioner.
So this is a show idea that in the 1980s would have run for 10 years and 300 episodes.
We'd be millionaires.
Oh, yeah.
But these days, I'm sure you could sell it to somebody if you can slap a treatment together. Anyway, that's for free.
God, I hope some executive is furiously writing right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are.
All right. Let's get to news stories, but first we have some more producers to thank.
Let's do it.
Big old thank you to buy Jason Pargin's highly controversial new book, I'm Starting to Worry About This Black Box of Doom, out now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparks, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Thank you to David Ruff.
Thank you.
Thank you to David Knife Boot Henson.
Thank you.
Thank you to Deborah's Awesome. Barbara's Great and Cancer Can Go to Hell.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire.
Beep, beep.
Thank you to Driftless Thinks He Can Dance Like Baryshnikov up Mount Everest.
Thank
Indeed. Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Funky J. Mostly comes out at night. Mostly.
Thank you. All right, let me swoop in here. Thank you to Ombre.
Thank you.
To Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank you.
Thank you to Highlander Likes the Way Tom Says Pretty Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you to Impossible Worlds. We have your Swaim and release him for the cost of your subscription.
Thank you.
Thank you to Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Mime on a podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Thanks.
Thank you to Mercurial Oz.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Lurker.
Thanks.
And thank you to Mongolian Throat Skanking.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I put this headline just to hurt us. And I'll read the headline verbatim. Disney to merge Hulu Plus live TV with Fubo, taking on YouTube TV and ending Venmo lawsuit. So there's a few things I'm not aware of in this. Let's start with, we all know what Hulu is, right?
Yeah.
What's Fubo?
No idea. My only note was, what the fuck are half of these words?
Yeah, so Fubo is a television network, it turns out. Fubo TV is a thing that apparently exists.
I think they have a lot of live like soccer games. I think it's football is its big thing. I think it's bigger outside the United States.
Yeah.
But the naming conventions of our streaming services is weird, because there was a time when it would have just been called something like Watch 24 or something. They would have had something, and instead of like, it's these Bubo and Venu and Fubu and Fubo, and
I'm sure there's some marketing algorithm that has decided that's the best way to name it.
Or like the Weather Channel. And then it's like, and then you make it 3 letters and you're done. Yeah. Venu, VENU, Venu. Sport. Okay, I think it's also sports. Okay. So that makes sense because I'm a Poindexter that I would know what these things are. Venu Sports.
The big headlines, there's going to be consolidation in this industry. It's every streamer was losing money at one point, except for Netflix. All of them. Like you think of these things as a license to print money. None of them were making money, especially Apple TV. I realize Apple has the money that whatever Apple TV loses, they won't even notice it because just their AirPods business makes more money than like every car manufacturer combined.
Right.
So they can throw an absurd budget at a show like Severance that I know for a fact it has an audience of like 40,000 people. It's like much lower than the videos we were making at Crack. Nobody has Apple TV Plus, or correction, lots of people have it. Most people who have it don't know they have it because it like came free with their phone. And they didn't realize they never set it up on their TV. So they have 25 million subscribers, but in reality, the average viewership of any of those Apple TV Plus originals is nothing. There's somebody said that they stream less in a month than what Netflix does in a day.
Jesus.
Wow.
It's wild because you're right. It's weird to say that some things need to be more of a monopoly. But it's like when it's stuff like this, and like, honestly, I'm sure our listeners are like, yeah, it would be great if all of you and your podcast buddies were all under one roof too. You know what I mean? Where it's like, there's certain situations where like everybody had to like split off.
Yeah, I'm not even rooting for it to happen. I'm just saying it's clear this is an industry. When everybody in the industry is losing money, that consolidation is coming because they've got to be able to merge. They've got to be able to strip away a lot of the fat or whatever.
Yeah.
And just become bigger. We saw that with digital media back when we were doing that. And there was a bunch of websites all trying to make money. And eventually it's like, oh, none of them are making money. Okay.
Yeah.
It's something this is going to have to be totally shaken up. And all of the traffic is just going to coagulate under a couple of giant banners, and then everybody else is going to die. It's going to be the same thing here. It's like, I think Netflix is big enough to swallow up somebody, but it's going to get down to where you're not going to have separately Paramount Plus and all the rest of them. It's all going to shake out somehow.
I think they all want to do it internally, right? Whereas like I look at like Shudder, where I was like, oh, cool, a streaming service for horror. That's a good idea. Right. And it's like, okay, all the horror goes there. And then it's like, over here's Screambox. Over here's another streaming. And then it gets fractioned up again, where it's like, fuck, I just wanted one place to watch horror. And like, that is still its own separate genre. Right. But it's like, you can separate it a little bit. But then once you start like doing these fractals of like separating that genre or that specific thing, where it's like, here's a sports streaming, then it's like, but what if we over here did our own just for like the sports, like it's like, what if NFL just does our own streaming? And it's like, no, like at a certain point you all have to be under one thing. It could be fractured a little bit, but not as much as it is now.
For example, it was a couple years ago, everybody's telling me to watch a show called Poker Face, where Natasha Lyonne is she's not really a detective. She just has this instinct for detecting when people are lying. So she just goes around the country, like solving cases. That is a Peacock exclusive. It doesn't even broadcast on broadcast TV. You can only find it on Peacock. And it's like, I remember going to my wife, is like, do we have Peacock? Like, did it come with something? How do you get it? It's
gotten out of hand. Other news, just news that Alien Romulus for its home release has said it's going to fix the CGE in home, which I just found kind of funny.
Yeah. If it's still in the movie, it hasn't been fixed.
I just don't. Yeah. This is what I just don't. Jason, did you watch Alien Romulus?
No, I have this really weird theory that the Alien franchise only had 2 movies in it, because specifically the plot of both of those films is paced out around finding out different things about the aliens' life cycle.
Right.
Because if you watch the first Alien, it's like, okay, we found these eggs. What's that about? Oh, it stuck to this guy's face. What's that about? Oh, there's this thing jumping out of his chest. What's the deal with that? Like every plot turn is based on finding out something new about how the alien works. Well, Aliens answered the final question, which is what lays the eggs. So again, starts out, what happened to all these colonists? Right. Oh, these are hive creatures. They put them all in a big hive. Look at that. There they are. What does that mean? Oh, there's now hundreds of aliens here. Okay, how do we deal with that? Where do they come from? Oh, there's a queen. Once you reach that, you've kind of told that whole story. We have found out all of the things about the alien. So then by the time you get to Alien 3, it's like, okay, let's just make it like a slasher franchise. Let's just have a new group of interesting people, and then an alien shows up and goes wild. And then Alien 4, Resurrection, same thing. It's like, okay, it's just a slasher movie in space now. We're not learning anything new about the alien. It's just, here's a new group of people on a ship. The alien runs loose. So I kind of just stopped following those films because it's like, no, if it's just a slasher franchise, it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Everybody says it's fine, but
personally, I love the first 4 Aliens. I did realize the other day, to your point, that 90% of Alien movies, and this includes the sequel, the James Cameron one, 90% of them just copy the exact same last beat as Alien, meaning that they've only figured out how to kill an alien in 2 ways, and they do it in every movie, which is, let's completely blow up the thing they're on. We're safe now. Never mind, one stuck on, let's blow it into space. They did that for, spoilers, Aliens, Alien Resurrection, and this new one, right? I forget if Covenant did it. And Alien, but Alien obviously is the thing that originated it. And Alien 3 is the only Alien that said, let's think of a new way to kill the alien. And that's interesting to me that, like, I didn't even notice that, but that is stagnant, right? Where it's like, they can't think of a new way to kill these things. Alien 3 was the last one. I still love most of them. Like, for all the what you're pointing out where they're just slasher, I'm like, yeah. And I quite enjoy that.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it. But you're right. They're all just haunted house movies with the new cast of characters, which is fine. Just I feel like you could be more creative with it, like they did with, because you could kind of say a similar thing about Predator, but like Prey was awesome. So do something like that with Alien.
Yeah, the secret is to kind of keep building off of it, which we don't have to talk about Alien Romulus, but I will say, as the Ian Holm CGI, what just baffles me, because they dug up Ian Holm. And they
dragged him out of the
robot.
Earth.
Yeah, they did a robot of him, and it's like, Lance Henriksen is alive, whereas like people would have clapped just as much to see an alive actor de-aged. Like, that still might not look great, but I don't feel like like I don't shudder at the same way, where I'm like, why did you do that?
Especially if you're a kid who's watching Alien Romulus as like your first Alien movie, because it just looks like a cool action sci-fi horror thing. And they've shoehorned in this weird CGI rubber faced thing. It's like, what are they doing? And you don't realize, like, oh no, they're bringing back a beloved character from 50 years ago or whenever, I don't know what year Alien came out.
Yeah.
78, something like that. I think most of the audiences, you could have just cast an actor in that. Cast a good actor in that part. What are you doing?
Yeah, they probably told themselves, like, well, it's a robot. It can be Uncanny Valley. And it's like, we can tell that you just
that was the point. Like, nobody knew Ash was a robot.
Right. And also, you can also, because it takes place between Alien and Aliens. And if you remember in Aliens, Bishop says, like, we're a new model. So just have an early Bishop model, like, just it's a Weyland-Yutani ship. Just have it like cutting edge. This is a new Bishop. Like, it can work in the canon. It's just like, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know.
We talked about it on the episode, but they also shove in a couple of weird references to the other films that we just kept wondering the same thing you were saying, Jason. It was like, well, this is a soft reboot to bring in new fans to the series, so who is all this shit for?
Yeah.
It's like, who bought a ticket to see Ian Holm? Who was there with like an Ian Holm like poster on their bedroom? Like, oh wow, they brought back my favorite actor.
Bilbo.
It's like, It's like, no, it was great because that was a skilled actor doing a great job of playing a creepy robot. That's what was great about it. Hire a new actor and let that person do a great job of playing a creepy
Every
robot.
other robot has been different. It's been a different actor.
That's the thing. They do have one in the movie, and he's the best part of the movie.
He's the best character, yeah.
Yeah, a second robot. And it's like, yeah, just do that. Or again, like, do someone who's alive, at least. Just at least do the Indiana Jones treatment. Well, it might still not be great,
but at least he's alive when they did it. Yeah.
All right. Should we thank some more producers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Thank you to musical guest Rob Ritchie.
Thank you.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Norm.
Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Silico Volcano Coniosis Disestablishment Terranism Jones. Thank you. Thank you to Psychic Bigfoot.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pumpkin Spiced Ed Nog.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rev MD.
Thanks so much.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Don't do that with horses.
Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist.
Thank you.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head. Thank you.
Too convenient. Let me jump in here. Thank you to the Midnight Pager with Patrons at Midnight.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Municipal Medicinal Arsonist.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Oatmeal Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you to the To-Be Terror Bunny. Thinks you could use more Rutger Hauer in your media diet.
Indeed.
Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tiger Drawers, Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sweet Keel.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tux.
Thank you.
Thank you to Vincent.
Vincent.
Thank you to Will. Rhymes with Bill or Bill rhymes with Will.
It's true.
Yeah, either. Thank you to Yargos from the island of Crete.
Thank you.
And thank you to your mom.
Thank you.
Couldn't have done it without you.
No, it's true.
Dave.
It's completely true.
Dave.
Yeah. Yeah.
To paraphrase Boys to Men, we've come to the end of the road. So I have one more question for you today before we can get on out of here. Do you have a movie that deserves more hype?
Oh, yeah. I guess I do.
Dave, you never let me down.
I never let you down. I don't have too much to say about this one because I just watched the trailer and was like, that looks fucking gnarly. That's pretty much it. This is called Devour.
Yeah.
It's coming out somewhere in 2025. It went through, I think 3 or 4 rounds of fundraising. So like, it's been something that they've been working on for quite a while. It is a story about an all-female death metal band called the Virginia Bitches, who are vampires. They then have to, it looks like, save a young girl who is on the run from a cult, and they get trapped in a town full of cannibals that's run by a warlock. So, you know, I think there's werewolves there too.
There's definitely a werewolf in the trailer.
Yeah, and it's about them trying to survive the night, basically. It's Green Room, but you know, like they have to survive. It's a town and it's filled with boogans.
Every type of boogan.
Yeah, just everything in the X-Files just moved to one town. It has distribution, so it's going to exist, and it's going to exist this year. You can go to their Indiegogo. You can look them up on Instagram. The big thing, and I shared the pictures with you guys, it's packed full of practical suit effects, and it looks good. Like, the effects look good. The gore, the practical shit looks good. What did you guys think of this?
I thought it was one long, gross noise. But I'm pretty into it. Like, this is extremely my shit. Like, the rest of the movie looks like, you know, like low budget, but they clearly the biggest portion of their money went towards the effects here, and they look good.
They should use this as a pull quote.
If you like
one
creature
long,
movies,
gross noise.
yeah, one long gross noise. Yeah. If you like violent creature movies, this looks like it'll be up your alley.
I think the story behind this getting made would be more interesting to me than the movie itself, because I went and found the link to the very first Indiegogo they launched to fund this movie, and they had a $350,000 goal, and they raised $18,000 of it.
Oof.
But eventually got it made anyway. It sounded like you said they just kept doing multiple rounds of funding and drumming up fan support, and and that kind of thing. I 100% believe they wanted to title the movie The Virginia Bitches
Yeah.
because that's what's on the original Indiegogo. That's the name of the girl vampire band, and that the distributor said, there's platforms that won't take it if you have that on there. It's the Apple or whoever, the most restrictive ones won't link to it or promote it if you've got a curse word in the title. So they had to rename it Devour.
Oh yeah, 100%.
An incredibly generic name for a monster movie, but whereas the Virginia Bitches, if you saw that on a streaming service, you'd at least stop and say, "What?"
Yeah, you're right. That it might get lost in the shuffle with that name.
Well,
you're right.
It's just like Feast, which is a
Yeah.
shitty creature movie. So
Right,
like...
but also I think if you're trying to break into Hollywood and you don't have connections, it's my understanding by far the best thing you can do is try to scrape together the money and make something.
Oh yeah.
And put it up on YouTube or wherever. Just make a scene or a short, or if you're able to shoot a feature. Like, not saying you have to be as ambitious as this, where you're recruiting people that can do latex monster effects work, things like that. But I think crowdfunding it, scraping the money together to just shoot a thing and have that thing exist is your best foot in the door, unless your parents are Randy Quaid and
right.
Right.
I love that they thought hard to make this, where it's like after the first round of funding, they probably made like a short or something, right? Where they're like, all right, let's use what we have. Let's make what we can and keep proving ourselves to make money. And the fact that they did 4 rounds and now we're looking at it and it's just, I think it looks just glorious in terms of the practical creature stuff. And it's just like
Terrifier was a crowdfunded thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now is a $1 billion franchise that they'll be making forever. That was one where originally, again, it was somebody, who knew how to do a certain type of a film and effects worker, had those connections, but had to get the public to scrape the money together for them, and just made it. Didn't wait for somebody to pick it up. Didn't pitch it. It's like, well, no, we'll just make it and then see what happens. And it's a giant pain in the ass to make a movie. I've said before on this podcast, there's no such thing as a lazy movie. Movies are incredibly difficult to make, harder than you think. If you don't believe me, go try it. Try to shoot just one scene in a film. But yeah, it's, if you can get, and how many views do they have in the trailer? Does it have traction at all?
Not enough.
And it has 52,000 views, went up a month ago. And that's just linked on the director's own YouTube channel. He has 3,600 subscribers to his YouTube. So got a movie, got it put into the world. There you go. That's
got distribution. Yeah.
Got distribution. It's going to be up on where people can watch it, presumably on all of the platforms. It had to back down on the title to get that done, I'm sure. But hey.
Yeah, it's Raven Banner Entertainment, which has done a good amount of movies that people like. It does like indie horror, but enough that you would like probably recognize some of the stuff they've done. So I mean, it'll probably show up on streaming. I hope we know when it does. You know what I mean? So many of these that I do where they'll just pop up on streaming like a year later, and I'll be like, oh, there it is.
They never put them in the new release modules. What happens? Some of these you won't know they're there until you specifically search the title. That's kind of the annoying thing about the streaming era. I do not feel like it's good at all at delivering you to, well, if you like this, you also like this. They all have a module called that, but like on Netflix, they just push you toward their original.
Like the same 10 things, yeah.
It's on Prime. It's like, oh, you like this movie? You'll probably like Reacher. It's like, well, the movie was Little Women. Are you sure that it's like, no, we're going to drive you toward the thing we spent money to make. We have no motivation to steer you toward Devour or the Virginia Bitches. It's so, yeah, the discovery depends on, the social media networks, but they got 52,000 eyeballs on the trailer. So there's somebody, it leaked its way into the horror fan pockets of the world. And who knows, maybe they'll get enough money to make another one. And then 6 or 7 years from now, this director will be will get to direct a Marvel movie, and that's
Yeah.
where all of these people go to die. They get awarded. It's the
Be
guy
doing
who
Planet
directed
Hulk.
the new Spider-Man films with Tom Holland. He made an indie thriller called Cop Car with Kevin Bacon. It is a masterpiece of small suspenseful filmmaking. And once he proved he could do that, it's like, all right, here's $300 million
Spider-Man.
to make a Spider-Man movie that has none of that flavor you brought to Cop Car. It has none of that. You are now a hired gun. You can buy a giant house in Malibu or wherever. Congratulations, you've done it. Just like Brie Larson, she did Room, and then and
like
then,
you'll never have to do another Room again.
No, never. That indie film stuff where you're having to like plumb the reaches of your emotions and beat yourself up and do it. Nope, you've moved on from that. We have awarded you. Here's a costume you put on. We will act in a big green warehouse.
Yeah, you can just set this up in your house. You don't even need to leave your house.
We'll paste in the rest of the movie later. Here's your $25 million. Thank you.
It's a good racket.
Yeah, we should, Dave. We need to get started on making our indie feature then.
We really do. Yeah. But for now, everybody check out Devour.
Yeah.
The movie, check out the video game too. The video game's actually really.
Oh yeah, we gotta play that again.
That fucking game.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, check out both. But first, check out the trailer for Devour. And that's it.
That's it. That's a sode. We've done it.
We did it.
Woo!
Jason, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on the show.
Do you want to tell people things and stuff here at the end?
I'm Jason K. Pargin on all of the platforms. TikTok will be gone by the time you listen to this, probably, but I'm also that on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, Reels, Instagram, Facebook, Substack, Jason K. Pargin. You search that username. I'm somewhere it's on one of the apps you use. I'm on it.
You're omnipresent. You're always lurking.
Like the lawnmower man.
Yeah, exactly.
See, we brought it full circle.
You have to be like that because you trying to promote on social media. It's like on one of those levels in Mario where you jump on the platform and the platform crumbles from under you and you have to keep hopping. It's like the most stressful thing ever. It's exactly like that. You just hop from one thing to the next, and then it dies underneath your feet, and you hop onto the next one and start over. It's been my life for the last 27 years.
Yeah. It's brutal.
Sweet.
By the way, Tom, your reference to the lawnmower man isn't. We talked about it before we started recording.
Oh,
so our full circle. I almost wish I didn't mention it. I wanted listeners to be sitting there like
puzzled by it.
The fuck did they bring up lawnmower man? Yeah.
Maybe Jamie will include it.
Listen, folks, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed, GAMEFULLY, unemployed. Go check it out. Go check out brand new episodes and exclusive episodes of Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder's a Maniac, Star Trek Next Futurama and Spiel Boys. We got new shit coming.
We do.
When I say coming, I mean in the March-ish, April. I think April we will officially be done with Fox Mulder's a Maniac. And let me say, I am genuinely excited for what comes next.
Yeah.
I think it'll be great.
The spiritual successor, if not a direct sequel, because we're all out of Mulders.
Yeah.
It'll be sad to see him go.
To our Mulders.
Yeah. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork, including a bunch of Mulder stuff done by Starling Hodge and Michael Vincent Bramley. Yes, him staking Batman through the heart is one we have by Michael Vincent Bramley. It's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of fun stuff there. So check it out if you want to. And check out our new show, Batical.
Yes.
Improv interview show about a fake video game.
It's a whole goddamn thing.
It's a whole fucking thing. Check it out.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. All right.
And David Duchovny, 64 years old.
Ooh, he's not gonna die. I refuse to accept that.
No, he's not. Nope, that's not happening. It'll never happen.
No. They'll find me. They'll find me in my living room with his skeleton, with his newly dug up skeleton.
Just clinging to him.
I let that go. Yeah.
Quasimodo in the end of the book.
He'll love it.
It's a literary joke. All right. So we can be done.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as the Corlew, or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at artistbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.